Good morning, everyone. How are you doing out there today? Patricia Hayes here, and I'm just about ready for our coffee time career chat. So get your coffee ready if you don't have it already. I got a fresh cup. Let us make sure that we've got folks connected. Oh, look, there we are. A little early pre-prep never hurts. Here we go. Awesome. So hopefully I'll be able to see as people log on. All right. Hello there. Good morning. Good morning. Patricia Hayes here, executive advisor and mentor, empowerment coach, and authentic networking strategist. And all that means is I am here to help you up level to the best you that you can be in your professional career and business life. And I love doing the work that I do. It is coffee time career chat. And we are in a new month, y'all. Can you believe that? We are in the month of May. Which is great. It's also a little scary, but we're going to go with great. Bring that kind of energy in, right? And we're starting a new theme. That's what we do around here. So if this is your first time joining us, know that Coffee Time has been around since the spring of 2020 when we could not go have coffee with friends and colleagues. And so I started these conversations virtually in order to be able to continue to have the conversations that I might have with my friends and colleagues about work, about life, and about how to continue moving our careers and our goals and our dreams forward, even in times like these. And so here we have been doing this for a year now, and with two times a week, coffee time 2 times a week. On Wednesdays, you can catch us recorded. So Mondays is live, Wednesdays is recorded, and we focus specifically on authentic networking topics on Wednesdays. So super exciting. There's a ton of things that we've done in the past. You can catch them all, and you can get caught up for this year on the YouTube channel. So all of that goodness is going on. And this month, as I said, we're starting a new topic. It's executive presence. I'm super excited about this. We're going to talk about what that means, what that looks like. And this weekend specifically, we're talking about it in terms of what is your mindset? What are your blocks? How do you identify what your mindset blocks are as you grow and assume your executive presence so that you can be effective professionally and in your business in a way that others might not be able to. And we'll talk a little bit about why that is. So that's what we're talking about this week. Moving forward, we're of course always going to have a networking conversation, which is super important when you're talking about building and establishing your executive presence. We're going to talk about your leadership goals, and we're going to talk about your vision and laying that out there and how that fits into your dreams and goals as part of that as well. So it's going to be a full month of conversation. Catch us here, or if you're catching us on the replay, be sure to leave comments, message me, whatever. I check everything on all the channels, so look forward to engaging with you. One other thing before we get started is, or maybe two things, is to remind you that we are in our 30-day consistency challenge. We just started yesterday. I'm super excited because I haven't done one in a while, but that's not the full reason why I'm excited. I'm excited because I actually was able to launch this with a new journal that I've been working on for a few months. So get registered. It is never too late. The way it's laid out, it's about 30 days. It's not which 30 days. So it doesn't matter if you start on the 1st of the month or the 15th of the month. The point is to start. So check out any of the posts with the consistency challenge. I'll drop the link here as well, and so that you can get in on all the goodness right away. The whole point is to focus on one thing that you haven't been able to in a while, but focus on it, that one thing every day for 30 days. Be specific, be deliberate, be focused about it so that you can establish a new habit and achieve the goals that you want. Because once you do that focus, you can gain momentum. For me, my 30-day consistency challenge, there's always a business element to it, more than likely, right? But it's funny because right now it's actually wellness and health. And that's because I recognize that your health is your greatest asset as a business owner. And so you want to make sure that you're taking good care of yourself. That is my focus this month because I've been a little wishy-washy, and I have some pretty magnificent goals set out for this year that I fully intend to achieve. So I need to be in tip-top shape to make that happen. So that is my personal 30-day consistency goal for this challenge, and I invite you to join me with yours, and I want to hear about it. So go get registered if you want to do the journal. If you want the journal, which I highly advise you to get, go get registered, get the fee, get all of that in there, and then you can come join us and we can have fun together. And last but not least, before we get started this morning, is I want to say congrats to all the small business owners out there, because this is Small Business Week here in the month of May. And, I know there are a lot of people out there just like myself who are really working hard, striving to achieve the goals, to maintain where they are so they can get to the next level. A lot of things going on. So I want to give a shout out to you all for all that you're doing, and for all those people who support people like me. You really have no idea what it means when you have someone to come check in on you, who send you, private little goodies every once in a while. I love those. Who contribute to your madness. I have a few people out there who like to, supply me with a little bit of jewelry to help me with my jewelry game, and coffee, of course. I do. I like coffee mugs, all of that stuff. All of those things may seem tiny or whatever, but they mean a lot. So thank you to those people who support small business, and to the small business owners out there. Genuinely, kudos to you. Remember, it's about your why. It's about the why of what you're doing, and to keep that dream and that goal in focus. All right. So there'll be lots of little goodies this week. I'm going to share some tidbits and some insights this week as well, just for Small Business Week. So if you're interested in that, or you know someone who may be interested in that, please send them my way and we will connect. All right. Okay. So here we are. We're talking about executive presence this month. And specifically this week, we're going to talk about addressing and identifying your career mindset blocks. Career, CEO, whatever it is, whatever your role is as a professional, what are those blocks that come into play, particularly when you are in need of making sure that you present well, that you have the executive presence that's going to help and build and contribute to your professional growth. Well, of course, the first thing is people are like, well, what do you mean by executive presence? I'm like, who even knows what that means? I get it. And so just to make sure that we're on the same page, I'm going to level set here and just kind of, dial back and let's talk a little bit about what that means. Most people, if you were to start talking about executive presence, what it means, they're going to be like, oh, you got to look like you're $1 million. It's about how you carry yourself and all of that. And that is true, but that is not the end all be all of it. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. What it's really about is about the confidence that you exude and that you actually engage in and share as a professional. Okay. And how that comes through, whether it's how you are confident when leading your team, how you are confident in your ability to get things done so that those around you, your colleagues, your superiors, your fellow business owners can see that, and your confidence in your ability to achieve your goals. Okay. All of that encompasses your executive presence. So here's the first thing. executive presence is not this mystical thing out there. This is a skill that can be learned. Okay, so that is fantastic news for anyone who's ready and willing to up-level your game. We've talked about that last month, about some things that you need to do in order to up-level for your professional career. And digging deeper into this executive presence piece is going to be really crucial, because we're going to be talking about things that you need to acknowledge, identify, build on, work on, all in the name of building up your confidence so that you can have that quote look and an activity about you when you're leading, when you are engaging in a meeting, whatever it may be, because it's about that confidence, it's about that respect. Now, this is not that macho, pseudo, fake it till you make it stuff, right? Because, yeah, there are times when we have situations and we really and truly have no idea what we're going to do. But the difference between faking it and trying to push through that is that when you have a certain level of executive presence about you, is that you actually can have the confidence to say, I'm not sure about that, but we're going to find a way and we're going to make it work. Do you see what I just did? It's like you acknowledged what you did not know, but you also showed confidence in the fact that, but we're going to figure it out. And that's what executive presence embodies, okay? That confidence of being able to move forward in spite of. That's one of my points. I'm giving it away early. I love this quote from the Forbes article, and I'll try to remember to post it later. But it said, executive presence determines whether you gain access to opportunity. I love. You are going to see this quote again. I love this. I think the gentleman's name who wrote this article is Jerry Valentine. And I love that because you know how much I focus on making sure that you keep yourself open to seeing and receiving fresh opportunities. Now think about this. Think about what it means that you carry yourself in such a way that opportunities get delivered to you and that for you to engage it, right? The article goes on to talk about how that a lot of times the things that happen on your behalf, you're not in the room. And I absolutely believe this, right? Because it happens because of conversations that people have when you're not there. And that is what will support people in deciding whether or not to give you an opportunity, whether or not to invite you to that next meeting about something, okay? Or whether to say, what, that idea she presented was pretty good. Let's invite her back. Let's talk about it some more, okay? So we're going to talk about all that. But even before you can start talking about what that confidence is, you got to identify the blocks that you have in your head, what's going on right here between the ears, when you are trying to up level to that, when you know that, okay, I need to shift how I present myself. I need to grow in how I present myself. I have to first, acknowledge, those things that are kind of keeping me from getting there. And so that's what we're talking about today. So one of the first things is that you have to identify the secret inner fears of being more. Let me say that again. You have to identify the secret inner fears of being more. What do I mean by that? Well, here's the thing. You can say that you want that promotion all you want, whether it's a promotion, the title, the business. But if you are not really there yet, emotionally, mentally, whatever, and that you have this doubt or fear, then that's going to impact how you present when it's time to go after the thing. Okay? And what that comes back to, fear is always, a base of so many things when we're talking about mindset blocks. I am not, let me, do this caveat, especially since I have a very strong mindset and CEO coach. So I'm always very, very careful to delineate that I am not a mindset coach, because there's so much more to that, right? There's so much more to that. But we can identify what those things are and then have you to dig deeper and do the work that's needed in order to not just identify what those blocks are, but to know what to do to address them so that you can grow and move forward. Okay, that's my mindset caveat. That said, is you have to be able to identify and acknowledge when you're scared. And that you're scared about, oh my God, what happens if I really get this thing? What happens if this really happens? Like, what am I supposed to do? Okay? That's getting to the meat of what we're talking about here with executive presence. And you're like, how is that? Because it's talking about your confidence. All right? You've got that. There's a lack of confidence that's embedded in there. And it's based on this fear of X. And right now we're saying it's the fear of actually being more. And it's really funny because I've seen this come across, and I've dealt with this a few times with clients. I've dealt with it myself. And it's that thing of the first step is being able to identify it and acknowledge it. And then doing the work. And what do I mean by doing the work? Handy dandy journals. Y'all know I'm a fan. I've got tons of them. But going into that reflection work of, okay, let's dig a little deeper on this. Like, what am I really scared of? Why am I scared of getting this promotion? Why am I scared of up-leveling and putting myself in a place to get that next six-figure job or a project? Okay? Because you say you want it, and I don't doubt that. But let's address the underlying fear, the underlying piece that's holding you back. Losing my words here for a second. But what is it that's holding you back? And when you start doing that work to actually acknowledge what that is where you get on the path to deeper growth that will help you to set aside those fears, because it's not that they're necessarily going to go away, but it's in how you address them moving forward. And the first step is even acknowledging that they exist. Okay? And then there's so much more, and there's plenty of great people out there who can dig into about what it means to be more. I will also try to remember to drop this link, because my own coach had a great session that I listened to on the other day about, that whole issue of perfectionism versus professionalism, right? That can be something that can come up in this context, right? Because everything's got to be just perfect. I can't do that next thing because this is, quote, not ready yet. That's a whole other lie. We're not going to go there. But these are the things that feed into it, right? When we're trying to get to the next level, when we're trying to be more, do more, and then but we're actually like scared of the more. I know, that was a lot. Let's take a break. Okay, so, and here's the thing, we don't always want the challenges that come along with that up leveling, but here's the reality, they come up, they exist, they will come up, and they will come up just periodically, regularly, because it's a sign of growth. As you grow, the challenges come, the new challenges, it shifts. And guess what? It's nothing to be upset about. It's something to acknowledge and be excited about, actually, because you're like, wow, okay, I'm in a moment of growth. So let me step back and actually acknowledge what that is. This was really important for me because a few years ago, I have this couple of issues that I was just like driving me nuts. And I'm like, why does this keep coming up? And I was feeling like I was just getting, beat over the head of why I hadn't, quote, learned the lesson, because I assumed it meant I hadn't learned the lesson when it came to this issue. So that must mean I'm not ready to go to the next level. Okay, so that's what's going on in my head. I discussed this with a great, very wise friend and mentor to me. And I love her to death because she also has that ability to to layer on that spiritual aspect to remind me of like where I am in center. And she asked me this. She goes, well, but what if it's not about the fact that you haven't learned a lesson? What if it's a new layer? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, think of it as an onion and how you peel back the layers, and you're just continually peeling. There are multiple layers to that onion. So what if this issue is not about you having not learned the lesson, but you've actually learned the lesson and now you're going deeper. You're going to the next layer of it. Blew my mind. Blew my mind. I had never thought of it in those terms. Okay? So that's what I want you to think about when you're dealing with this fear of being more, or even if it, or if there's some other fear that's coming up for you in the context of building out your executive presence, is to not beat yourself up if you think you haven't, quote, learned the lesson, because you may actually have learned the lesson, but now it's time to level up and you're going to that next layer. You're peeling back the onion on it so that you can be ready. Okay? All right. That's number one. Number two is that you have to acknowledge the external skill development that's needed. So the first thing is an internal job. Like, what are those internal fears? What are those things that are coming up for you as you try to move forward with building out who you are, as building up that confidence as an executive and as a leader? Now, the second piece is the external, because there are external things, right? Let's not sugarcoat and say, oh, you don't have to worry about what people think. It's the reality of the world in which we live in, especially if you're in a professional capacity or as a business owner or CEO, okay? So there are external things that play into our executive presence and the perception that we have, or that is out there about us. So here are the things. Is some of these things, though, here's something. When I said that it's stuff that can be learned, because these are absolutely the pieces that can be learned. So if you're talking about external skill development needs, let's talk about the two things that people hate the most: public speaking and networking, i.e. relationship building. Y'all know that's my jam, right? And public speaking is a close second. I mean, like, they're what for what. So think about it. You can learn how to be a better public speaker. I don't care how much you hate it. You can learn how to do it. If you're willing to put the time in, if you're willing to acknowledge the fears that you have about it and be like, okay, I'm going to do what I need to do to overcome that, you can learn that. You can learn how to build relationships better. Absolutely you can. Okay, I spend my days working on these issues. Okay, you can work on your emotional quotient growth. This is a biggie in today's world, especially with everything that's going on around us, right? Being more present and being more aware of what's going on around you and how that plays in to people and their work and whether they're able to get it done or not, right? All kinds of things. These are things you can learn. You can study them. You can get training on them. Team building, okay? All of these things, it doesn't matter. If there's a skill piece, you have to acknowledge what it is that you need more of, that you need to learn more about. Okay, I have my things. And even in the areas that I feel really confident in personally, I recognize, I'm like, okay, maybe getting a little stale, or you need to up level here. So I need to still learn, all right? That's a part of professional growth. If you're growing as a leader, you're always learning. What is it? Leaders learn. Learners can lead, okay? So continue to acknowledge, address what it is, okay? So it's not just acknowledging it, but then do something about it and put the time in. And that alone, that acknowledgement, and then taking action towards bettering yourself in that area, instant confidence builder. Literally taking that step along is a confidence builder. Okay, it'll change how you sit. It'll change how you how you enter a room. It'll change how you sound. Okay, just from doing that. I've seen it, y'all. I've seen it happen. So don't be afraid, or let me not say that. You can be afraid to think about what it will look like to do that, but don't let that fear hold you back from taking the next step. Because a lot of these things are as simple as, I need to learn how to be a better public speaker. I'm horrible. I'm horrible at writing, at writing memos. I'm horrible at communicating with my team. You can learn to do better. So let's figure out what that is and get past that in your head, because you can think you're horrible. You're probably not as horrible as you think you are, but overcome that piece. Let's move past that piece and say, okay, that's fine. What am I going to do about it? Okay, take that action. Number three is a willingness to move forward in spite of. I love this one because this gets to resiliency and courage and bravery. And as you grow as a leader, as you grow as a professional, all of these things come into play in one way or another. Trust you me. And it's not just about executive presence, but it's how you deal with problems. It's how you address issues. It's how you lead. It's how you interact with the other professionals, supervisors, whatever, people around you professionally. Okay? That willingness to move forward in spite of is so crucial. It means you're not going to let yourself get stagnant and get stuck. It does happen, right? But it's again that piece of, okay, let me just go ahead and suck it up and move it and keep it moving, right? Put that one foot forward, okay? Here's the thing, and we talked a little bit about it. Everything does not have to be perfect. Everything is not going to be perfect. Why? Because perfection is an illusion. Keep saying this, write it down, put it on a sticky note, put it on a billboard. Perfection is an illusion, okay? I even catch myself because I am a perfectionist, always have, but I know that perfectionism and that perfectionist mindset has also kept me from moving forward on things in the past. And that is not how I want to roll. Okay. That is not what I want to do. And so I have to remember perfectionism is an illusion. It's not real. What is perfect right now at, 10:34 a.m. at 11 a.m. may not look so perfect. That perfection piece may shift. So just remember that, because that will take the load off. That will take some pressure off of you and allow you to know, you know what? Good is good enough sometimes. Most of the time, good is good enough. Let me just move forward here. Okay? The other piece about this is that it helps you to acknowledge the gaps in the needs that you have. Okay? Because you can see those gaps and you acknowledge the needs. And it's like, okay, we know what these things are. We know that we're going to have to address them. Let's keep going while we work through what we're going to do to fix it. All right? Acknowledging that there are challenges ahead. It's just the reality. You don't have to know what it is. Everything could be hunky-dory right now, and then tomorrow you'll be like, oh my gosh, everything just blew up. Okay? It happens. So how are you going to respond to that? How are you going to address that? Okay? When you respond not as this crazed person who's like, I can't believe that happened, right? Because that is not executive presence. Executive presence is having the confidence and the calmness and that doesn't mean you don't get upset and that you don't get worked up. You do. But it's but I got to lead this team. I got to make sure this project still happens. Okay, woosah, what are we going to do next? That response is everything. That's what people are looking for when they're looking for someone with strong executive presence. because how a team responds to you in that moment is crucial. And if you're like all over the place, then they're going to be like, what are we supposed to do? They don't even know what they're going to do. She doesn't even know what she's going to do. Versus, okay, we don't know what we're going to do, but Patricia's looking like she knows, she has a clue, so let's go. What are we going to do? Okay? And then just the unknown. So it seems like they're all the same, but they're not. There are differences to that, right? Gaps in need, challenges, and just flat out the unknown. We have no idea what's happening tomorrow. Guess what? That's true for everybody in the world. You have no idea. You have no idea of what's going to happen in the next hour. But does that mean that you don't keep moving forward with the goals, the dreams, the projects? No. You're moving forward in faith. You're moving forward, making some assumptions, yes. But then also with the confidence of, hey, whatever it is, I'm feeling confident that I'm going to be able to deal with it. You may not feel that way once that thing actually happens, but then again, that's a mindset shift where you can be like, okay, let me get a grip. Let me figure out what I can do, who I need to get support from, who I need to pull in, whatever. That's that acting as a leader, being visionary, being aware of yourself and knowing that, you know what, we're just going to take that punch and keep on going. All right. Y'all know Brene Brown is fantastic on this issue of resiliency, and there's some other folks out there. But this is a really important piece that hasn't, that's been out there, but it's like coming even more to the forefront right now these days. Okay. All right. So let's see. Thought I saw someone, and I cannot see. Okay. I don't see any questions. If there are questions, let me see. I can't always tell who's out there or not. So if you have questions, even if it's in the replay, I will come back and check. So drop me a line or whatever. All right. So that's it. That's what we have to talk about today on this new theme this month of Executive Present. And we've been talking about identifying and addressing your career and CEO mindset blocks, about how, what executive presence is and why it's important, but then also identifying those secret interferes of being more, of acknowledging the external skill development needs that you may have, and then lastly, that willingness to move forward in spite of. And all of those things play into how we approach things, what we think, and how we look at it, and what we can do to move forward so that ultimately we can have the confidence that we need to show up with confidence, to show up in strength and with power. And that's not like being powerful, but empowered in your business, in your workplace. Okay? That's it. It's been fantastic being with you this morning. I look forward to following up with you. Keep an eye out for some small business tidbits this week, and I will check in with you again later. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.